Welcome back for a king-size binge breakdown of the final official Walking Dead 1 2 Live trailer and every other bit of footage from the upcoming show that AMC has released to date, along with a few Season 1 theories based off some rumors and possible leaks. Spoiler alert, beyond this point there are heavy TWD spoilers. The first shot shows a scene in the woods with dozens of flaming walkers that we will see many times throughout this video. We believe that makes the scene significant and we'll tell you why later. This next shot, like about half of these, is one we've seen before. Here we see Rick in the woods with a worried and possibly angry look, but no other new info here. The next repeat shot shows us a swordless Michonne with a decent sized butcher knife in her belt. Where's the katana? As we know that Rick and Michonne filmed in Alexandria due to some fan sightings, this could be a flashback from when she hung up her sword or from somewhere else more recent. Here we have yet another repeat shot of the CRM's army, and if you look close, it looks like we have Pearl and Rick photobombing. This new shot of General Beale, aka John Locke from Lost, doesn't tell us much, but we do love the CRM pin. Having merch in the apocalypse is a serious flex. This shot is similar to a few others we have seen in the Flaming Walkers in the Woods fight. What are all the other people in the background doing? Following another repeat where Michonne and her new peeps are attacked with some kind of gas, we get a title card that tells us the trailer hasn't even started. It's like old times again. The trailer cuts back in with a new shot from a familiar scene where Rick is being forced into doing his grunt work for the CRM with a safety shield and a walker killing stick. Mr. G is likely performing similar maintenance duties we've seen the CRM impose on its newer recruits in World Beyond. The workers all seem to draw the walkers towards the protected bricks so they can easily kill them. After that, we get an AMC title card and then back to Michonne 1v1ing a horde of walkers. We've seen this scene before in the final episode and we'll see the scene again a bunch of times throughout all of the promos. Here we see the aftermath of some explosion which we'll cover later, and that Michonne is exhausted in this moment and about to pull a Jon Snow against the entire army. The next few shots are also familiar as we see Michonne opening up a bag with Rick's magical shit-kicking boots and then hugging those boots and remembering Rick in better times. The voiceover that plays during this sequence tells us Michonne is explaining her story of Rick to someone, but we already know how that went down. Here we have a brand new shot of the crumbling Philly skyline, and we wonder how much action we'll get to see in the city and if anything can compare to what we've seen with Maggie and Negan in NYC. Following that moment, we see Rick looking up at a helicopter. This guy's been doing that forever, it's one of his favorite hobbies. This shot here is weird because we can't see Rick's hand, we just see a hook. Is this confirmation that the Grimes family patriarch is now handicapped? Tough to say just from these few frames, but we'll talk about this more later. The rest of the sequence is shots we've mostly seen where Rick kills a bunch of walkers and wears himself out while his voiceover says maybe what's going through his head.
I have to keep trying. I won't stop. I'm getting there, I'm getting home.
Will he ever? This new shot shows Rick in an emotional moment. Is this when he finds out Michonne is looking for him? After that, we get a shot of the phone that started Michonne's search, only this is some point in the past where Rick has yet to finish it. Following a cut to black, the action fades back into Michonne walking with one of her new friends, Nat. Nat is the first little person that's a featured character in the TWD universe, and we will see him a bunch more throughout our video here. The next few shots are repeats of Michonne exploring near a broken down bus and then looking at an abandoned cruise ship that is most definitely not a safe harbor. Maybe Alpha went boat hopping before she met up with the Alexandrians. This shot here of Michonne visibly upset is one we've seen. Could this be the same woods that Rick has his flaming walker fight in? The promo then fades to a shot of Michonne's new friend Nat, who explains to her what the phone says.
Your phone, you know what it says? The Japanese? Believe a little bit longer.
This is great advice and probably exactly what Michonne needs to hear in this moment. After a cut to black, the trailer comes back in to show off some type of military building with 4 choppers on it across the water from Philadelphia. We're going to see lots more helicopters, people. The next few shots are repeats of the CRM's military as new character Donald brags about their size.
This is the most powerful military on the planet.
Nice. As we haven't seen much of the rest of the planet, it's tough to say if he's right. We get a repeat shot that we saw earlier in the trailer before we see Beale again looking stoic and ready to kill a community or two. Is he gonna be the bad guy TWD needs? In this shot, we get some more context to some moments we've seen in earlier promos.
Why do you even think I'm gonna go along with all of this? Because everything will change.
Why does Rick need to go along? Why is Rick so important? Can everyone see his beast badge the way all of us fans can? This shot here of Beale taking out his sword is one we've seen before, but it still has us wondering if that sword takes Rick's hand or if Recruit Grimes does it himself. The shot after that shows us a close-up of Pearl, and it definitely seems like she drank the Civic Republic Kool-Aid. Here we get Beale's answers to Rick's original questions. After that, the trailer cuts to a wide bird's eye view of some ranch, and then we see Michonne with her new crew in some abandoned town. The way the promo is edited, this sequence happens right before an attack on Michonne's people with some kind of yellow gas, possibly mustard gas. The CRM does not play when they attack, that much we know. Here we get another beautiful shot of Philly in ruins, and at least they have some wind-powered energy sources. What else is going on in the city? Could they ever actually create the cure? The next shot shows Jadis, who also seems fanatical, and then a pilot of yet another helicopter before cutting away to a sequence we've seen before in the trailers and way back in the TWD Season 2 flashback of when Atlanta fell. The fact that we've seen this reused sequence in multiple promos tells us we are going to see a fresh new perspective of when Atlanta fell, and we believe it's possible that the CRM are the ones who pulled the trigger. Following that explosive moment, the trailer cuts back to Jadis pulling out her sidearm on someone while Michonne's voiceover tells someone that this is not the answer. Is she talking to Jadis? Is this about her haircut? After another cut to black, their promo fades back into Michonne talking about ending the cycle of violence. Good luck with that. After a repeat shot of Michonne in a dark building with walkers behind her, we see a weird shot of caged zombies that was used this past week as a random CRM-themed promo. Are these part of some Civic Republic experiments or something worse? The next shot shows us Rick pulling his best Real Housewives of New Jersey impersonation as he flips the table with his right hand only. While we see Rick's anger, we hear him screaming at someone while the action cuts to General Beale doing some killing of his own. The trailer then cuts to Rick watching the windmills and then looking at something that's happening in the city with curiosity. Is this an attack by Michonne and her people? This shot here of these two helicopters is a repeat and could be just about anywhere in the US. Our guess is upstate New York. Next we get a new moment with Pearl, who we will see again in the other trailer.
This is all I have left.
She seems to be really all about the CRM. Will she get in Rick's way? If so, RIP. The next sequence is one we've seen teased before of Rick in the woods with these creepy glowing red lights. We think the scene that happens here will be memorable. Here we have another repeat shot of Michonne charging out her neon yellow vehicle, and then we get a great action shot of 3 CRM soldiers getting blown up that tells us the almost $14 million per episode budget is being well used, and we're hopefully getting lots of action and explosions. The next shot shows us Michonne talking about a sacrifice, and then we see Nat playing with a lighter. Will they sacrifice the new guy as soon as he got here? You know Michonne ain't dying. After that, we see the vehicle Michonne was driving earlier and find out that it's Jadis who she's battling. After a couple more repeats, we see what Michonne's plan for the Horde was, and it's not disappointing, although how many shells does she have? The following shot shows Mrs. Grimes in her new fencing outfit working on her swordplay, and then we get the 50th helicopter shot of the trailer. What's important to note is that the CRM is destroying their own helicopter in this building rather than leaving any evidence. It's standard operating procedure that we've seen in Fear before, and we just hope the story of how the pilot wrapped his aircraft into this building is a really good one. The next shot shows us that knocking down buildings is all in a day's work for the CRM. Here we see classic beast mode Grimes before cutting back into the promo for the final 2 shots of the 2 main characters and Michonne's last thought.
We can do anything.
This is going to be so epic, people. Now we're going to cover the other full trailer and then the teasers and any other promo that's been released. As we get into the other teasers and promos, we will only cover shots from new scenes that offer new information, as many of these shots in the different promos show off slightly different moments from the same exact scenes. The first shot of the trailer starts with Michonne in a badass winter outfit. The way she is moving tells us there is some sort of threat, and this smaller guy coming up behind her is Nat. While the shot plays, we get some obvious dialogue.
I'm looking for him.
Yeah, everyone knows it, including your kids. Here we see there's more of a plan to the Horde scene as Michonne loads up some kind of modified gun that shoots some type of rocket-propelled harpoon. It's really tough to say exactly what's happening, but we're not really worried for Mrs. Grimes here. Her plot armor is just about unbreakable. This shot shows us some kind of projectile being shot into the horde of zombies. Is an explosion incoming? After that, the action cuts to a shot we've seen before a few times, the dilapidated Philly skyline and a bushy-haired man who is almost definitely Alexandria's #1 presumed dead citizen, Rick Grimes. The first time we saw that skyline was in the World Beyond finale, but it seems like a good chunk of this series will also take place here. The sequence then cuts to an over-the-shoulder shot of some random super decomposed walker approaching Mr. Grimes. During this trailer, we will see some crazy-looking walkers, but we are predicting, just like in Dead City, the real threats and best parts always seem to revolve around the survivors. Following that moment, we get a repeat shot of an exhausted and murdery-looking Rick. One thing we want to point out is that we haven't seen his left hand once. We'll cover that more later. During this sequence, we hear Rick telling someone that his wife and his daughter are his choice. Is this Rick's response to a threat to his family? Or is the CRM attempting to push Rick into some kind of arranged marriage? We think it's the first option, as everyone will want to know Rick's motivation for not returning. Keeping his family safe seems the most likely option. This shot here really looks like classic Grimes is back. With the new series premiering on the anniversary of the Carl's death episode aired, we really hope so. The next new shot we get is of Pearl, who apparently likes to drink, and in case you couldn't tell, she's listed as an antagonist. Rick and Pearl do seem friendly here though. Don't let Michonne find out.
Thank you, Grimes.
Why?
You showed me I can't get away.
Rick showed her she can't get away, so it seems he is possibly being used to make an example to the other CRM soldiers in similar circumstances as Rick. The trailer then cuts to a close-up shot of General Beale, and he seems like a legit villain. Beale asks Rick if he's there to kill. He's Rick Grimes, he's always ready to kill. This shot here shows that Rick's in contemplation holding a bullet to his forehead before cutting to Rick's answer to the general.
Look in my eyes, sir. You tell me.
Chills. The following shot shows Michonne using a pistol, which is rare, before switching to the warrior whipping out her katana, but then back to the worried pistol packer going through some kind of shady looking area that used to be a zoo or museum. The next shot cuts back to Rick and most likely General Beale as they talk at a different time, but all we get is a sense of I told you so. The trailer then takes us back to 2 kind of familiar faces, Aiden and Bailey, who we first saw at the end of Michonne's last full TWD episode. It seems they're doing better than when Michonne found them. The next shot shows us Nat again, giving a lighthearted look to someone, and then we see Michonne also with a lighthearted smirk. This has to be after she reunited with Rick, right? After that, we see another flaming walker similar to the early ones. The next sequence shows Rick fighting another walker who's also got a ton of shrapnel in its head. How is the brain not pierced once? After a repeat of the attack on Michonne's people, we have more questions. Is Rick on the opposite side? Are they using mustard gas? So many questions, people. Following a cut to black, the promo fades back into a CRM pilot dressed in black walking away from his chopper for one final shot before bringing in the title card. Could this be Rick? We think so. We think Rick could be with the team that fired on innocent people and he goes rogue after the killing he sees. Maybe this is where he finds Michonne? It's still anyone's guess until we get more footage and leaks. The trailer then comes back in for one last triumphant shot of Michonne looking very hopeful. This is probably when she finds Rick. What do you think? What's coming in this season? Will we see a Daryl cameo? The timeline is unknown, so even though Daryl is in Europe now, that's not to say there isn't some kind of flash forward, as Daryl was seen with Rick on social media during some of the time the series was filming. What we really want is a dog cameo, but we're not holding our breath. Now it's time to look at all the teasers and various promos AMC has released. As we've seen a ton of shots already, we won't be talking about these repeat or repetitive shots, but we will let them play in the background. The shot here gives us a wholesome shot of Rick inside the CRM that reminds us of the Commonwealth. What's up with that bulletin board? Is this another Wall of the Lost? The first new shot from this next teaser is a continuation of this yellow gas sequence with Michonne handling business with a mask on. This shot here shows Rick in the woods with red lights behind him fighting off walkers. We are still coming back to this scene again later. Next, we're going to look at the behind the scenes teaser that was released about a month ago that gives us some additional insight into the season. After a sequence of mostly repeat shots, we see Rick waking up somewhere secure before we see the AMC logo and yet another helicopter shot. What is the helicopter budget anyway? The next shot shows Rick in some moment of realization that could match this earlier shot, but no real info here. This shot here matches the shot from the trailer, and then here we get the happy couple that Michonne rescued. How long is she with that group? Here we see a CRM firefight that probably matches the earlier explosion we saw. Next up, we see another shot of Nat, and then a repeat of Beast Mode Rick that we just can't pass up. Now let's take a look through the 2 Comic-Con teasers for any shots we haven't seen before going over our theory of how things are going down on February 25th. The first new shot looks like classic Rick, "Are you fucking talking to me, Grimes?" and of course he's got someone's blood on his face. What are the numbers behind him? We also get a few random Michonne shots, but no other details in the New York Comic-Con teaser. The San Diego Comic-Con is filled with shots we have already seen, although this shot with CRM soldiers looks slightly different than the one from the trailer. There's also this new random Walker shot. Maybe he's crucial to the universe? We do get a cool looking Rick shot, but besides that, nothing new. There were a few one-shot teasers that maybe will offer some clues like Rick's boots, but that's basically all we have for now. We believe there will be a few more promo videos and photos released before February 25th, possibly during Super Bowl, and we will be back to cover TWD's unofficial return. Now we want to go back to the behind the scenes teaser and a sequence we glossed over in the beginning, as one very fast shot tells us a whole lot. If you look at Rick's left arm here, it very clearly seems like he has some kind of metal cable tied to it. If you look at the other shots from this wood sequence, we can also see this cable. We believe Rick uses his hatchet to cut off his hand to save his own life in this situation and or escape. As a reminder, in all of the footage, we have only seen his left hand 3 times and it's all in the same scene. We think that the show is finally fixing a difference between the TV and comic universes that has existed since season 3 when the governor failed to take Rick's hand. We also know this is something Andrew Lincoln wanted a long time ago, but due to a prosthetic being such a hassle both budget and schedule-wise, the producers did not want to run that storyline. There's also this photo of an alleged call sheet from the series which seems to have surfaced in Reddit and Twitter that very clearly lists Rick's prosthetic in the props section. It's possible this call sheet is fake, but the fact that the trailer seems to be avoiding his left hand seems to make a case that Rick is going to join Aaron and Lydia in the amputee club. We believe that this will really demoralize Rick, which is possibly another reason he disappears so many years. We believe the series may be a limited series, but that eventually the spin-offs will collide in a final series or possibly a movie. We don't expect some type of MCU team-up, but a semi-reunion of all the major surviving characters and their kids would make a lot of fans happy just the same. What we know so far is that the series has the biggest budget per episode of any TWD series ever. We also know that some lucky critics have already received advanced copies of the first 3 episodes of the series, and we are scanning vigilantly for leaked scenes of any kind. The first 3 episodes are called Years, Gone, and By in that order, which is obviously a tribute to the original TWD pilot Days Gone By. We believe the episode titles do indicate a little bit of what we will get. Years will probably show us where Rick has been all these years. Gone could be when Rick escapes, and maybe when something he cares about is gone. By could be when Rick finds Michonne and the 2 leave together to head back to Alexandria. On the other hand, Rick might not even see Michonne until the last episode with how these things usually get dragged out. These are just guesses, and who knows what will happen in episodes 4 through 6, but it's very certain there will be lots of action and love between our star-crossed survivors. What do you think? Is the ones who live the end of the line for Rick and Michonne, or a stepping stone to the final battle? As AMC doesn't have any super strong franchise to fill TWD's shoes, it seems like they will put a lot into the universe the next few years. We will be happy when we get more dog. Thanks so much for watching our videos. Please smash that like button and let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on all the major platforms and check out our Patreon for exclusive content. Make sure to click that notifications bell and don't forget to subscribe.
Binge.
Ready.